Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you all are back and all set for Open Space with Agile Network India, which is facilitated by Prashant Gulwadi. He's a change catalyst, and we'll just begin in a couple of minutes. Before that, I would like to thank our founding sponsor, Innovation Roots, which is a leading consulting and training service provider helping organizations to achieve business agility and beyond. It is one of the leaders and pioneers of niche publishing services and well known for content collaboration with global thought leaders, authors, and creators. You can find out more details at www.innovationroots.com. We would also like to thank our sponsor, Gile, which is a product offering from Tata Consultancy Services. It is a purely cloud based enterprise agile planning tool along with DevOps capabilities. Enterprises can use Gile to adopt agile practices or scale across multiple Scrum and Kanban teams using enterprise scaling frameworks such as SAFe, Disciplined Agile, Less and More. You can try out Gile for free up to 20 users for 30 days by signing up at gile.io, or you can reach out to any of us for any inquiries or setting up an exclusive product demo. Check out the Agile page on Agile Network India website for more information. The link is available in the chat box. And now I'm not taking any more time. Welcome, Prashant. Over to you.
Thank you, Nupur. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining. This open space session is our channel to
Hello.
interact with the community. Uh, I'll go about a little bit of the instructions, how we plan to do this. We have next 50 minutes to talk about various topics that you have in mind to share your questions, your knowledge about. And it's an open discussion. We will facilitate a discussion between the members on the call also. Whatever question you pose need not be answered by me or the organizers. It can be other participants as well. This is an opportunity for all of us to uh, maybe set ourselves on the public platform and make a beginning, if not done yet. At the same time, gives us confidence when you speak something and you ask answers, ask questions. Our responses are acknowledged and people build upon. That's way we are contributing to the knowledge sharing vision of our community. We have been doing planned presentations, structured presentations that we saw today morning. Sometimes we have panel discussions, sometimes interviews. Now we have come up on this open space discussion. It's not a lean coffee where we have a breakout sessions. Keeping the, I would say, the constraints of time, we may not be able to answer all your questions, but at the same time, we don't want to just have a yes no type of a quick one run around. What I would like to maybe encourage you is start typing the questions you have in mind. It can be for the community as well. What is Agile Network India doing? It can be how the world is participate. It can also be our industry challenges. What do you feel that is part of the Agile way of working? The topics of interest. You may start chatting this using chat box to post your questions there, and I will try my best to moderate those questions as much as possible. Depending on the number of questions, we may decide how much of time to spend on each of them. And we like to have a healthy dialogue between the 23 members so far on the group. And go ahead, sir. I think you want to say something. You had probably started saying that. Maybe you can take the first shot at it.
Yes. What I want to mention, Innovation Route is one of our founding sponsor. Just like we have the Zyle offering from TCS as another sponsor of ANI, it would be good idea if Innovation Routes also come forward for some offering, and that makes their visibility much more than at present. This is my thought. Thank you.
Would somebody from the organizers want to take a response at it?
Thank you, sir. Here. I appreciate that input. We will take care of some high-level offering related overview next time. Right now, we are not prepared, so maybe we cannot just jump in on that. So I think that's a great input. Thank you. So from my side, Prashant Gulwadi, the topic suggestion. Thank you, sir. Topic I am suggesting is maybe in this COVID time, in the remote specifically, how the remote appraisals would work is my suggested topic for you. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jot it down. Looks an exciting comment. Yes, remote appraisals in during COVID. And yes, would you like to start with your challenge statement, Priyank? Would you like to expand more on this? What do you see a person currently happening, and what are the ways that we see are not happening there? Maybe we can start with you.
Yeah, I have some very initial thought, Prashant, here. So,
Okay.
just to brief you, uh, what I'm saying is like in terms of appraisal is, let's say we used to work as a team, right? We had a guiding principle in place where we used to appraise people, right? Mostly like, we have some KRA, like how they are performing in a team, right? Like if I am a development team, I might be knowing like okay, this person is doing really great or maybe overachieving the targets. Now, when the remote working is happening, my problem statement is like how the things are happening. I want to hear from everybody whomsoever can participate and contribute in this thought, like in their company, how they are doing it, right? How they are assessing what kind of KRAs and goals they are setting for their people, and uh, how is it functioning?
Good beginning, Priyank. So while you're thinking on the response to these questions, others can use the chat box to jot down their questions because we'd like to see how much more we can gain traction on this. So who'd like to take our first stab at KRAs, doing work remotely, appraising them, having the trust in what they have done so far, and outcome based was outputs. We just had
I
one
want to
misalignment.
I want to
Yes,
take one small point here. When we do appraisal, it is not only work related. We also want to know how a person behaving as a team or as a leader. So I would suggest that there can be some open sessions in remote mode with some subject and try to judge how a person participates in the discussion, how he comes out as a leader. You might remember this kind of a session is held when we want to appraise the candidates for MBA students. There's some brainstorming session. In similar manner, this could be one important point to be considered. Thank you.
thank you, Goel sir. Good point there. Anybody else wants to convey their thoughts about it? Let me put this maybe statement to make it comfortable. When we talk of ideating, right, at part of the design thinking process, all ideas are welcome. So all your ideas and suggestions are welcome. We are not shortlisting anything down. So do not hesitate. Utilize this forum. This is your forum to talk about and convey your knowledge with us, please. I think,
Yeah,
okay. Hi,
Prashant.
Preeti. Yeah, Preeti.
Hi. And I think I have already spoken enough, but maybe I can share one or two views on the same.
Sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I feel, I think it's more when we talk about, remote ways of appraisal. The essential question that all of us need to understand and ask is, how do we establish the trust, right? Appraisal, I think somewhere when anybody thinks of appraisal, it comes more as, somebody is really judging you about the performance. So first and foremost, when everybody is working remotely, there is no mechanism, even if, you focus on number of hours or things like that. There is no absolute mechanism to really appraise somebody until unless you have the idea about their outcome. So I feel that even before we reach to that, establishing psychological safety for the employees is must. And the focus, what I feel is now everybody is contributing in a team mode, right? So how do we ensure that people really feel part of the group? They are getting visibility of the work they are supposed to do. How they are able to share, not as a presentation or status report, but how they are able to feedback their supervisor, their appraiser about the process or the progress that they are making, right? I think that's very, very essential. So as a supervisor also, it's not just about OKRs or providing KPIs. It's much more about making employees, each and every employee feel comfortable who are part of the team, be open about their ideas. And in fact, now I think more and more people have shifted their focus. They have stopped thinking about just appraisal as in the bends or pay rise or the paycheck that they are receiving. It's much more about, are they really able to take care of their passion? Are they able to balance their work life, right? So if, as long as we can have some of this very subtle aspect also part of the overall appraisal system, I think that's a way to go. Thank you.
Yeah, Preeti, you've covered a lot of ground. I'm aligned with the thought that you said. First, I think a very important part is trust part of it. Look, I can keep
Yeah.
my screen on and go doing some cuts of vegetables too. That's the joke that we see on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
You touched a very nice point that first build the trust in the team, and
True.
appraisal, even if it's remote, it has to be continuous life cycle, the way you mentioned in your previous session. And I would add my part to it also. When I've been doing appraisals as a appraisee or as an appraiser, we typically make it try to make it a one-way session. What we have seen is the person who's appraising themselves, a self-appraisal, has to be candid in really being truthful to the extent that yes, these are things I could achieve as per my goals, these things I could not, and these things when I do something beyond, I'm quite truthful about it. That's when the organizer sees that this person has built that trust himself to being a trustworthy person. And when that culture for me evades out, means it emanates out, right? Then my team members, my peers, my colleagues also see that this person, I'm not saying a Prashant Godia, as a person, is somebody who creates that trust in themselves firsthand, charity begins at home, and how that thing can be maybe now snowball to other people. Because I've seen many people doing appraisals, even when one on face to face in the same office, they rate themselves fine for everything, and when they get lots of bugs. So when we see that the quality of the outputs, let alone the outcomes, are not consistent with what they have done and what not in the appraisal there, that is the first disconnect. Anybody sees that. We have to overcome that, whether it's physical or remote also. Now, with remote question being added there, I don't want to start nagging my team member or getting nagged by my boss. What am I delivered as per the commitments? Have I been upfront with my challenges? Have I really asked for more time? Have I delivered on my performances? And objectives and appraisal also are for my future roles. How am I building that? That trust of a two-way between myself and my supervisor, myself and my team members, is not built in a day and can be done on the appraisal day alone. It's built over a period of time, and I would say that it's an ongoing journey. That's where that psychological safety of trying to face a negative feedback also. Actually, I won't use the word feedback in appraisal. It's a feed forward word I would like to say. Prashant, next 6 months, I think you should focus on these areas because I've seen you work the way you are, but that's some place that you have a gap there. If I understand that, and my super also understands me, I think the remote part of it doesn't really come into play for me personally. From my experience of having working in Pune and my boss is sitting in Bangalore, and that's been to me from 2001 till whatever I do. It's always been a remote approach for me for the over the years here. That's my personal experience here. Maybe I took a long answer to it. Anybody else on this, or we want to take our new question?
Thanks
Hello?
for sharing that, Prashant. This is Priyank. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Priya, go ahead.
I was just thanking two of you already to share the thoughts, and obviously, as you well said, I just have to add some flavor to it from my side before you jump into the next question. While we want to invite other people to share their topic which they like to talk about, they like to share about in the chat box, and while I'll share this thought, so maybe you have time to think and process. So, Prashant, I think one of the elementary need of appraisal is that, this is how the system and the structure has been, right, for generations, right? People come to your company, they want to know how I can grow in your system, right? And that's the most important piece for a person joining, right? So they get something now, but what is the future looks like? They want to predict it, right? So, in remote concepts, and obviously as a system, we want to become better. So these are the two fundamental system KRAs, in my opinion, right? You need to grow the system, you need to grow the people, right? As a system, right? If you're a company like Wipro, Infosys, you have a growth plan, and that growth plan includes the person involved in the journey, as you use the word journey in there. So I really appreciate that thought. So I feel that in remote, it has become, in fact, simpler because the conversations are very driven by the delivery. You see that what is happening, and then I just wanted to admit that fact. That's why I came on the call and I use this thought process. Like, it has become simpler because earlier we had, let's say, 6 people performing in different way. And I'm not comparing people, but I'm just saying, like, that that person need to be given this inputs, which is calling feed forward. So they have to be given those insights and suggestions or improvement ideas that, okay, you become better with these ideas in the next 6 months or so. And then that person comes back, or maybe you evaluate or assess again, and then you see that, okay, that person is now ready to take up a bigger opportunity or maybe bigger responsibility than earlier. And that's how we want to design it, right? So now it has become actually very simpler because you, as an enterprise, like of my size, which is a small company, we know that what goals we have, and then we communicate it explicitly, like, okay, so this is a project, we need this to be done, this is our goal, and then if you do this, this is what actually we will get. So I'm saying, like, it's become simpler. Earlier it was like, you have direct and indirect goals, and then you create correlation. So now in remote setup, the delivery has become one of the fundamental factor, metric, which is evidently clear to both the side. If I'm not delivering, I'm an employee, I know that I'm not delivering. On the other side, if I'm an employer, I know that that person needs support or whatever, to guide, and then eventually will become efficient in the way that we want that person to be. So that is one view about it. Now the contradictory view, so people are not getting more endeavors to express. However, we're talking about psychological safety. This is a really good point. Environment and support and HR function, collaborating with them, whatnot, right? But look at the reality, right? I mean, like, it is safe to admit that, I mean, like, my parents are remotely located, and I'm not directly aware about their situation most of the time, right? So in remote, it's not simple to understand the other side of the story and how they are doing things and what problems they are facing. Though we want to provide them the environment and support, but then it's not possibly in your control that you give them what they want. And you can only say that yes, we want to give you that, but that's like making it really, really difficult to support a person to perform better in a way. Yeah, that's it what I have. So maybe you can take up some the next question now, maybe, or if you have some thoughts to conclude. Over to you, Prashant Gulwadi.
Thank you, Priyank. Different ideas there, good points. So one is trust. Second thing is understanding the growth factor of the company. Third one is psychological safety and the feedback journey. I think that's a good amount of time we spent on this question here. Any last thoughts before you wrap? Or I can add a question which has come to me before the session here. Fair enough. Uh, there's a question about empathy that somebody wanted me to take up. Empathy in the way of how we work here. Maybe we can add a flair to this. Empathy in agile. So how do we use design thinking we talk of? Like Preeti mentioned, we don't really use the word design thinking, empathy, persona, we talk to people there. But how are we living, thinking, and maybe using empathy the way we know when we are interacting with the colleagues, with the customers, with the users, or with the support staff? Can you have some thoughts on this question, please? What does empathy mean to us, and how are we demonstrating it? Tough question.
At my end, I'm waiting for others to pick up the opportunity. To be very honest, I'm spontaneously waiting to share my thoughts on this, but then let the other people be invited and speak. I just want to add my views on the empathy side of it, right? Kishan, give
Yes,
me a
Priyank.
scenario where we exhibit empathy. Like, is this very difficult to understand as a subject? So I just want a scenario where, you have seen it so that we can actually build on that.
Okay. Take any favorite movie that you are seeing. I'll take from an example of maybe Earth and Saransh. I saw all my family members watching the movie crying. Why? Everybody
Because they
knows
got
Earth and
emotional.
Saransh movie. Huh?
I have seen it in pieces, maybe not the whole movie, but I
Yeah.
understand they are like emotional.
Yes. So in summary, the question is when we are watching a particular movie, we start emoting. When there's a joke, we laugh. When there's some very serious scene or some tragedy, we start emoting. We start maybe crying. Some of us. That is because we indirectly have felt that we are involved in them, right? We are in their shoes. Like Anupam Kher has lost his son, and the customs officer asking him to pay duty on his son's ashes. So there's a very hard-hitting dialogue there in the movie Saransh, if I'm not wrong. So when we see such movies even today, or serials or whatever, why do we feel the reaction even when that movie has been scripted, takes, retakes, edited? But when the movie is being watched, I'm in that role. I'm feeling the feelings of Rohini Hattangadi or Anupam Kher or any question. When first time we saw Amitabh Bachchan getting killed in Sholay, all of us were shocked. Hurry, how can the hero die? Then we was again saw in Muqaddar Ka Sikandar. At one time we never felt that hero can die. That is because we are feeling their shoes that this person all invincible. So empathy for me is living in somebody else's shoes, being there like a fly in the soup, not just an observer. There's a difference between sympathy and empathy, right? I have sympathy for somebody who did not pass his exams or fell sick, but when I try to do something for him, maybe there's an empathy part of it. So, Priya, have
And
I given a good example for empathy?
Oh, not just good, brilliant. Now I will take it from you. So,
May
Okay.
I believe
I,
somebody has unmuted. Maybe you want to share something?
may I mention, Prashant?
Yes, go on, sir.
You mentioned that one way of empathy is trying to be in the shoes of that person. I would say that is not enough. Also try to feel whether the shoe is pinching or is it comfortable. And
Good point.
that can only happen since you are physically not in his shoes. Try to make him express whether the shoe is pinching or not. And that's why empathy is more of a proactive approach to know what anybody needs, whether it's a customer, internal or external. And that is why a very important statement is made in quality. Address not only the stated requirement, but also the implied needs.
Perfect.
And, and in agile world, we always talk about delivery of the business value. And that can only happen when you understand what kind of business customer is addressing with our delivery. And that requires empathy way of knowing that. This is my thought. Thank you.
Thank you, Goel, sir. The shoe pinching part
I have
actually
a
touched the nerve
bit
there.
to add. Yeah. So before I jump in, I think it becoming three-party conversation. So we invite others. Anyone who has a thought on empathy being a concept in whichever dimension. Like Goya sir wonderfully taken a customer being a reference point. Prashant taken a human emotion as an reference point. So Prashant, one thing actually I just want to bring into your notice, and being an employer, I meet the situation quite often than maybe you might be, because imagine like somebody bluffs the emotion. Isn't it like a trap for a other side of the story? You got what I'm trying to say, right? Somebody like in the same movies, right? Not the same references which you have given, but you might have seen a character who bluffs the situation, like my mother is sick or my grandmother has passed away, I don't have money, but that guy actually is not actually saying the fact, right? Is lying. And then there is a good guy who falls in the trap of that person, and eventually he gets to know that, right? So the problem that we don't have the emotion is not that we don't have the emotion. The problem is that when to use it correctly is also another very critical aspiration, right? So we generally have empathy for things. I believe I'm making my point clear, right? So when the things
Yes.
have been bluffed, I want to take some references now. You see this internet messages floating, right? I lost my job. I don't have a job, and then thousands of people liking it. In fact, I'll tell you one data point. Like recently, I called a guy like that, and then I said, like, I see that you have lost the job, and I have a job for you. He said, how much package you're offering? I said, you don't have a job, so what is your expectation? And I said, like, I am expecting this much. And then I said, like, okay, so why you are expecting this much? So he said to me that I have 3 offers in hand. That is why I'm expecting this. I said, you know what? The reference I called you through was that you don't have a job. And then you are floating that message on the internet. He said, yeah, that's still old now. I have some offers and I'm still evaluating it. Now you tell me what will come to your mind. You got what I'm trying to say. So
Yes.
that guy is corresponding to everybody, using and playing with the emotion of humans and trying to make a number here. And as a person at my side, who's a simple person in terms of, like, when I use empathy, I actually mean it, right? So it was very difficult for being an employer to learn that concept. Very difficult. I'm admitting on a recording here. Very difficult. But when I learned it, I actually felt the power of it. And then when I'm seeing this happening now, I'm actually generally evidently seeing it as a trap. It's just a faking. Okay. So a person says, I have this person passed in my family, or maybe I have no job for like many months, and I lost job because of COVID, is not always true. So when you discover the fact, you feel like you have been bluffed, you have been, if not cheated, but you have been misguided with the information. And then you have an ecosystem. This is the point I wanted to make. You have an ecosystem, right? You become stronger to resist those emotions. You don't want to actually have empathy. You're getting my point, right? So we are been designed as humans, and if you read the psychology, I believe that when you feel situations like that, your emotions start acting against and become ignorant about the next time the same thing, right? I'm just pointing out on a very random thoughts, however, but then this is fact, which is I have just recently experienced. So over to you, Prashant Gulwadi.
Yeah, I understand, Priyank. People sometimes tend to take advantage of our emotions. This has been going on for ages, and it will continue. Unfortunately, that's the way the human psychology is. But that person having done that destroys the trust once and for all with us. That's the price they pay that they don't realize it. Somewhere or the other, they get hit on the back. Yeah. Anybody else wants to add this topic, because I see one more question popped up here, and not sure.
Okay, Prashant. So here I am, Nupur here. Let me come on the webcam as well. As Priyank
Okay.
brought in a very good point about empathy, uh, that having empathy is good, it is required, but what when it is being exploited uh, with the vicious kind of thoughts? That is one thing. But in remote environments, we cannot ignore empathy completely as well. But in a remote environment, how we keep the teams motivated, at least those who are committed and sincere.
Yes, Nupur, that's a continuous challenge here. The remote environment, sometimes we do not understand what they're going through. We have seen that even when I was trying to look for speakers the last 1 month, somebody was not responding, and later on he came and told me there was some bereavement in his family. They could understand. The communication is very key. Sometimes we forget that two-way communication. People can empathize. People can really understand them, and that's how we learn. That's why we are on this planet here to learn as human beings and keep improving day by day. Thankfully, with all these methodologies, we are trying to improve ourselves as individuals first. Maybe I can wrap this question here, because we got two more questions here. One from Amar Pusi. Let us all help women with coaching to get jobs or lost husbands to. One second. Let us all help women with coaching to get jobs or lost husbands to Kuwait with no income and small kids in laws to support. So that's a question in private. Yeah, Amar, would like to start on this? In summary, coach women to get jobs who have lost their breadwinner in the family and they have to support their in-laws and their children. So, how do you want to help them? Ideas from the team?
Yeah, hi, this is Amar here. That is my question. Actually, it's very unfortunate. I have lost two friends and five juniors to COVID, and their wives are like they had taken break from work due to kids or were not working. So now, since they are gone and whatever they will get from their company will be used in repaying their home loan, whatever loans they have. But going forward, they need income support. So maybe if there is any option to coach them or at least make them ready to clear interviews as a PO, SM, or anything on similar lines, whoever is like non-technical or is interested in agile and project management space. Yeah, so that's what was one of my thoughts, because yeah, friends and relatives can't help forever. They might help initially, but yeah, long term it's pretty difficult. Yeah, that's my.
You have a very sensitive question, Amar. The very fact that you're feeling this, that means you're showing empathy towards those people there. And yeah, some of our people are trying to do that. Now let's hear from the team here what ideas we can generate to see how we can take this further and maybe start seeding the ideas across the community. Anybody wants to take a chance?
Vishant, I have some thoughts.
Yeah,
There
go ahead, Priyank.
is, I would say, we have to admit couple of facts, right? The administration is challenged. The ecosystem is challenged. In fact, I was talking to one of the biggest companies, a big guy yesterday night. He called me 8:30 for some work. And he said, like, the enterprises failed also, no matter what they're claiming on internet. And he admitted. So I'm not quoting his name because of the things goes in a taken in a very serious note on a different direction. He put it like, he's a very senior professional in a very large scale company, very famous company. Is it like, enterprises collapsed and they have money to shell off, but they don't have a purpose left. And he said the same very painful line. And he said, like, a lot of people and they have a very brilliant person who was supposed to take over Europe as an enterprise system has lost his life in COVID. So yes, Amar, this is a very, very, very sensitive topic. I think there are channels, just to highlight, like, there are fundraisers people are running, and maybe I encourage you to contribute in that. That could be one way. Other than that, I think corporates has to definitely come forward for the people that are losing. Like, I don't have the validation, but then I saw that some Tata post on LinkedIn floating, and I realized that it was very great move by Tata. Like, they actually are giving pension to the families, right, for the people that have lost life.
Tata Steel.
Like,
Right,
such a great
correct.
move. It's a great move, right? So I think UP government also has given jobs to the people that have lost jobs now to their family members, right? Something like that. So I just have these two thoughts, but then I think it's more important to be learned as a long-term problem, right? So we are just right now losing in volume, but this is a common problem, right? If the breadwinner dies, then the whole family is at risk, right? So it should be seen as a systematic challenge. Like in design thinking, we talk a lot about, like, if you have a problem in hand to solve, you ideate solution, right? So ideating solution could be a great use of this platform where we are. You are here, and this here, and all of this. I think maybe we can think of supporting them running fundraisers. That could be one way. Second, ask their corporates, maybe they, just like I learned from one of the neighbor that they have called the employer because they were not stepping forward. Okay, and we talked to them, and then we spoken to the manager for one of the colony person who lost his life. So I just learned that they have done something like that, and then the manager admitted because when you talk, sometimes people are hesitant to do anything about it. But then once you talk to them and explain the situation, so they might not be familiar with the to keep the empathy one side. People don't even know sometimes who all are in the family and what kind of problems, the loans, what is problem now is there for the person, right? So they explain the situation, the lady explained the situation, the neighbor for another neighbor, and then they realize the problem, and then the employer now stepping forward to support that person. So just maybe a phone call can make a small difference here, right? To the employer and talk to them rather than just putting on social and cribbing. I think we need to take a concrete action and make it better. On the other side, you do your part. Right? You do your part. You can't just wait for everybody else to do the best and you don't do your part. So I think that is my suggestion. I don't have a final answer, Amar, and I apologize that we don't have a solution in hand. Maybe our government doesn't have it. Maybe the enterprises doesn't have the final answer for this, right? So, but everybody can put some effort to solve this, in my opinion. What is your suggestion, Amar, on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I personally I work as a technical architect. So I am open to any kind of mentoring, coaching to upskill technical skills to make anyone like ready to at least crack a job. That's the least that I can offer. Yeah.
Yeah, Amar, I think what Priyank and you have said gives me a lead. Yeah, go ahead, Priyank.
I was just saying I can also extend that same help like Amar is. So just on, if anybody needs what I know, I'm just open to share that knowledge, like about Kanban, Agile, Scrum, transformation.
Right.
Um, Prashant, I have. Sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so Prashant, I have one suggestion for this kind of situation. I mean, I would suggest that because of this pandemic, we have seen this situation for a long time, but it is there even if normal situations are there. Many ladies have taken the break from their careers, and still they want to cope up with after some years they want to cope up. So ThoughtWorks have one of the programs for this kind of people, I mean these kind of women, where they can brush up their knowledge, and also sometimes if that particular candidate is very good, they can absorb in the company as well. And also they are landing up the jobs for other companies for this kind of through this kind of programs. So I would suggest that if anybody is technical, for them, ThoughtWork program was, I don't remember actually the name of that program, but yeah, on the net you can simply find. uh, if you want, I can give you the link. Second, I would say, uh, we can, I mean, when for this pandemic situation, there are some things we can do, like in our neighborhood we can ask, if I am very good at cooking, I can supply at least some dabbas and something, and then we can have network. So through that network we can increase our reach and ask for if there is any job, or you can get to know after a while. So this is one of the options I would suggest. And also, I mean, yeah, and as this is pandemic situation, but even if as a immigrant, I mean, I was in Canada, so was few days I didn't have job. So I was working as a volunteer, or I was reaching out to the people and helping them in their work, not only in like in volunteer way, but also like lawn moving or something. So these kind of things we can do through reaching out to the people, even if we are not technical, I would say. For, I mean, every person is not technical, right? In the I mean, we are in all our IT, so we know that how we can leverage the people in IT industry, or technical, in a technical way. But people who don't have this technical knowledge, we can still leverage them through different kinds of channels. For example, volunteering, or reaching out to our neighborhoods, or even if maids also have some connections, so we can ask maids, I mean, where they are working. So if we know that some good societies, they have, even I got to know that from one of the friends, her maid is working in some startup, in some startup company's owner house. So she got to know that from that maid, and she got the connection, and she called them up, and she asked for some help, and they literally asked them to give them some tiffin box for their lunch. And it's kind of, nearby house, so they got some, good warm warm tiffin. So they were happy, so this is how she got, after some time they told that, can you uh, just increase your tiffin quantity, so that I can feed my, the two colleagues as well, which is working with me from other floors. So she was okay with that, and that's how she got the, her network get very, uh, now she's very well doing. So even if she faced some problems initially, but yeah, this is how I would suggest we can reach out, we can ask them to reach out to some people around them. Also, if we know somebody, we can give the contact number, and they can contact. This kind of things we can do.
A good point, Amrita. I think you brought up very important points. The other sides of the coin, non-technical people build a
Yeah.
network and see where they can start with what they know, and they can start creating an entry opening. Uh, your points are correct. Let me build on that point. Some of these people have got some communities where nothing discriminatory about it, but there are some based upon language, based upon their region. These communities are trying to build their own people. Sometimes we don't know about them. What I've seen in Pune, specifically in Pune, speaking, I've seen some Pune here. People talk of creating this household goods, and that's their network, and build upon through the ladies alone. That's how they build a network. Second thing is trying to create homemade goods, like you spoke of food, pickles, papads, all those things. Because if you're taking non-technical, right, they are also venturing into creating entrepreneurship. If they are interested in taking a little bit of risk, creating these articles that are non, I would say, which are not polluting, like your handbags and what those things that you need for your ongoing work. So something like decorative items. It's just that at the right moment of time, in the moment of panic, we don't know whom to connect, and maybe we need to play that role of that connector there and get these people to the right people around. Even if I can't do, maybe I can get them connected to the right person. And like Amar was saying, in our own neighborhood, if I can build this, and that chain reaction can help a larger community. I think you touched upon a very good topic here, Amar. Very sensitive topic here. I think we all need to acknowledge that and build upon this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but one
thank
more
you.
point I want to share is since I lost my friends last month in April, so whole month of May I was exploring like what are the options available. So I would like to share a few points that I have explored. So if like the wives are general graduates like BA, BCom, BSc, and if they are good at certain subjects like mathematics, science, and accounting, there is a massive demand for online tuitions, because now what is happening is with the online education that's going on since last year, so there is no real like education being given from schools and colleges. So just coursework they are running, and it's like, so now everyone is searching for good tutors who can help their kids learn these hard skills. Accounting, maths, and science are the major ones. So if they can manage 9th, 10th math, science, and 11th, 12th, and graduation accounting, science, physics, all those hard subjects, then online tutoring through platforms like Baiju or Vedantu or whatever are the online platforms. I think so that would be a good starting point for somebody who has a good understanding, if they are not ready yet to get into IT, because IT needs a little bit of preparation. Like you need to have that kind of what do you call industry little knowledge and all if you have taken a long break. And yeah, coming back to what Amruta was stating, I also explored the women welcome back programs that some corporates are running, but I mostly found those are more into tech, like VMware and ThoughtWorks. Those are purely tech focused. So if you are like a developer or something on those lines, then those are good. Or else if you're a non-tech, let's say you are more focused into agile project management and all, I haven't seen any program in the industry which is actually mentoring, coaching, or enabling women to come back to industry after a break. So that is what I want to put a point here. If any of you are aware of any similar helping hand program in the corporate, that will be really nice for non-tech women. Yeah.
Thank you, Amar. I think that gives some idea for the committee also to see if we can start our own blog spot somewhere to share ideas on this, and that becomes a common point for us to share, discuss, and maybe build upon the topics further. We have
Yeah.
another
Thank you.
minute left here, so I think first we'll like wrap this up. So thank you everyone for sharing your ideas. I think we did take some time to warm up, and now having warmed up, we don't want to wrap it up, but it's time for the next session. So thank you once again to all the participants on this call here for listening out to us and helping us experiment with a new type of intervention with you all. Thank you, Nupur. Thank you, Priyank. Thank you, Ajay Network India, and the sponsors. Thank you, everyone. Over to you back. Over to you, Nupur.
Thank you so much, Prashant, for this amazing facilitation of this open space. We really got some grilling questions up there, and it was nice to brainstorm on certain ideas which has brought up by the participants. So thank you once again to you and to all the participants.